Chosen one, this is not a drill. What if I told you that God himself tried to keep a secret from you, but now heaven can't hold it back anymore? Listen close. Right now, in this very moment, something is cracking. Something that's been sealed since the foundation of time. Picture a dam built strong, built high, holding back waters that could reshape entire valleys. For years, decades maybe, you've felt the trembling, the pressure building behind your prayers, the weight of something enormous pressing against the walls of what you thought was possible. That dam. It's about to burst. And beloved, you're standing right in the path of the flood. Those sleepless nights when you stared at the ceiling, whispering, God, are you still there? Those moments when your knees hit the floor and the words wouldn't come. When loneliness wrapped around you like a shroud and you wondered if heaven had forgotten your address. You thought those were signs of abandonment. They weren't. They were contractions, birth pangs of something so massive that the Almighty himself had to time it perfectly, had to wait until this exact hour, this exact breath you're drawing right now. Heaven is no longer whispering. It's roaring. You've been asking for a sign. This is it. The portal just cracked open, and it has your name written in light. Not someone else's name, yours. The one you whispered in dark rooms when you thought nobody was listening. God was listening. God was preparing. God was positioning every piece on the board for this moment when the secret he tried to protect you from becomes the very thing that saves you. Before we go deeper, drop 777 the comments right now. It's not just a number, it's a signal to heaven that you're ready for what's about to be released. It's your spiritual fingerprint saying, I'm here, I'm awake, I'm ready to receive what you've been holding back. If you turn away now, you'll miss the one thing heaven wrote for you alone. The one message that's been locked in the vault of eternity, waiting for your spirit to be strong enough to carry it. To everyone who's walked this path with us through your prayers, your time, your faithful support, you're not just helping a ministry, you're helping heaven reach someone drowning in the dark. Your seed is watering ground that's about to explode with harvest. Now breathe. Stay close, because what you're about to hear has the power to rewrite everything you thought you knew about your story. The secret is out. The floodgates are opening. And you, chosen one, are about to discover why you've been kept alive for such a time as this. Why has God been silent when you needed him most? Why did he let your health fail when you served him faithfully? Why did he watch your friends disappear one by one, your bank account shrink, your nights stretch endless and cold? Listen to me, chosen one. What if I told you that God's silence wasn't abandonment, but preparation? What if every unanswered prayer wasn't rejection, but protection? What if the very thing that's been crushing your spirit has actually been forging it into something unbreakable? Picture this with me. A master craftsman holds a priceless treasure chest in his hands. Inside lies diamonds worth more than entire kingdoms. But he will not hand it to someone whose arms are too weak to carry it, whose heart is too fragmented to guard it, whose spirit hasn't been tested by fire enough to appreciate its weight. So what does he do? He strengthens the vessel first. Every loss you've endured that was muscle building in your soul, every betrayal that cut deep, that was scar tissue forming over a heart that needed armor, every financial crisis that kept you awake at 3 a.m., staring at unpaid bills that was God, removing your dependency on everything except him. You thought he was punishing you. He was preparing you. Psalm 37:4 says, "Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." But here's what they don't tell you in Sunday school. God is the one who plants those desires in the first place. That hunger for something more you've carried for decades. That restlessness that won't let you settle for mediocrity. That wasn't your imagination. That was his fingerprint on your spirit, marking you for something extraordinary. But the vessel had to be ready. Think about Abraham. God promised him nations, descendants as numerous as the stars. Then what happened? 25 years of waiting. 25 years of wondering if God forgot his address. Sarah's barren womb became a mockery. Neighbors whispered. Doubt crept in like smoke under the door. But God wasn't late. He was building Abraham's faith to carry the weight of being the father of nations. The delay wasn't denial, it was development. You've been in your own waiting season, haven't you? Watching younger people get promoted while you got passed over. Watching your children succeed while you struggled. Watching your body betray you while others seemed to age gracefully. You whispered, God, what about me? When is it my turn? Here's what your spirit needs to understand. Your turn is now, not because the waiting is over, but because the preparation is complete. Every tear you've cried in the darkness built an ocean of compassion in your soul. Every time you helped someone else while your own cupboard was bare, you proved you could handle abundance without losing your humanity. Every moment you chose faith over fear. Even when fear made more sense, you passed another test that qualified you for what's coming. The enemy wants you to believe your age disqualifies you, that your failures define you, that your season has passed. But Moses was 80 when he parted the Red Sea. Abraham was 100 when Isaac was born. Caleb was 85 when he claimed his mountain. Your wrinkles aren't signs of decline, they're badges of endurance. Your grey hair isn't evidence of being forgotten, it's proof you've survived what was meant to destroy you. But why now? Why at this exact moment in history? That's the part you must hear. Because the world is darker than it's ever been. Because confusion reigns where clarity should rule. Because people are dying of spiritual starvation while drowning in material excess. And God needs vessels who've been tested, proven, refined by fire to carry his light into this darkness. You're not too old to be used. You're finally old enough to be trusted. The secret God tried to hide wasn't your unworthiness, it was your readiness. He's been protecting you from blessing that would have crushed an unprepared spirit. But now the foundation is solid. The roots run deep. The character has been tested and proven. The treasure chest is about to be unlocked. Don't you dare click away, because what I'm about to reveal will explain every unanswered question you've carried for decades. Every why me will become now I see. Every how long will become it was worth it. The weight of the secret wasn't punishment, it was preparation. And, chosen one, your preparation is complete. You want to know why you're here right now? Why your heart is pounding and your spirit is stirring? Because somebody's been lying to you your whole life. And that somebody includes the voice in your own head. They told you that pain meant you were being punished. That struggle meant God had forgotten your address. That the nights you cried yourself to sleep were evidence you'd done something wrong. But beloved, what if I told you that every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you felt like you were drowning, what if those weren't signs of abandonment? What if they were signs of appointment? Look at Joseph. 17 years old, dreaming dreams that made his brothers want to kill him. They threw him in a pit, sold him to slave traders, and watched the dust settle on what they thought was the end of his story. But that pit wasn't his grave, it was his preparation chamber. Every betrayal, every false accusation, every night in Potiphar's prison wasn't punishment, it was positioning. Genesis 50:20 says, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." Your enemies thought they were writing your obituary. God was writing your promotion. You've been in some pits, haven't you? The pit of loss when someone you loved walked away. The pit of sickness when your body betrayed you. The pit of financial ruin when the bills piled higher than your hope. The pit of loneliness when the phone stopped ringing and the visitors stopped coming. But here's the revelation that's going to change everything you didn't break. After everything they threw at you, after every storm that tried to wash you away, after every blow that was supposed to be the final one, you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, still believing somewhere deep in your bones that God hasn't forgotten you. Your scars are not evidence of defeat. They are medals of survival stitched into your skin by the very hand of God. Think about Esther, an orphan girl, hidden in the background while prettier girls paraded for the king. She must have wondered why she was overlooked, why she didn't get chosen first. But God was keeping her hidden until the exact moment when her people needed saving. Esther 4:14 says, "Perhaps you were born for such a time as this. Your time of hiddenness is over. The season of being overlooked, underestimated, forgotten, it's ending right now. Because the secret God tried to hide is this: you weren't forgotten. You were being preserved." Remember David? 8 sons, and his father didn't even think to call him when the prophet came looking for the next king. He was out with the sheep, doing the dirty work, invisible to everyone who mattered. But 1 Samuel 16:7 says, "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." Your heart caught God's attention when no one else was looking. Your faithfulness in the field, when nobody was applauding, when nobody was keeping score, God saw it all. Every prayer you prayed when your voice was hoarse from crying, every time you got back up when staying down would have been easier, every moment you chose hope when despair was knocking at your door. Why do you think the attacks have been so vicious? Why do you think the enemy worked overtime to break your spirit, steal your joy, convince you that you were nothing special? Because he knew something you're just now discovering. You are not ordinary. The favor that's about to be released on your life isn't just for you. It's generational. It's going to ripple through your bloodline, through your community, through every person your story touches. The blessing that's coming will be so obvious, so undeniable, that people will point and say, "Only God could have done that." That's why the enemy fought so hard to stop you. That's why the battles felt personal. That's why the attacks came from every direction. He knew if you ever discovered who you really are, if you ever stepped into your true identity, if you ever stopped believing the lies and started walking in the truth, his kingdom would tremble. But here's what he didn't count on. Here's what the enemy never understood. You can't kill what God has anointed. You can wound it, you can bury it, you can try to suffocate it under piles of disappointment and rejection. But what God has chosen will always rise. And you, beloved, you are rising right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. In this very moment, something is shifting in the spiritual realm. The secret is out. The favor is flowing. The breakthrough is breaking through. Do you feel it? That stirring in your chest, that quickening of your pulse. That's not anxiety. That's anticipation. Your spirit recognizes what your mind hasn't caught up to yet. This is your moment. This is your time. This is why you survived everything that tried to destroy you. If you feel this truth resonating in your bones, if your spirit is bearing witness to what I'm speaking over you right now, write "I receive it" in the comments. Let heaven see your agreement. Let the angels record your yes. Because what's about to happen next will require your participation, your faith, your willingness to step out of the shadows and into the spotlight that God has been preparing for you. The first revelation is this: you were never broken. You were being built. And now, beloved, it's time to see what God has been building you for. You know what keeps me up at night? It's not the world falling apart. It's knowing that most people are about to miss the greatest move of God in their lifetime because they can't see the signs screaming right in front of them. Chosen one, let me ask you something that's going to shake you to your core. What if every disappointment, every delay, Every door that slammed in your face over the past decade wasn't God punishing you, but God protecting you from receiving your blessing before the appointed time. Think about it. You've been wondering why nothing's worked out the way you planned, why that job didn't come through in 2018, why that relationship ended in 2020, why your health took that hit in 2022. You thought God forgot about you. You thought maybe you weren't as chosen as you believed. But what if, hear me now, what if God was holding back a dam of blessing so massive that if it hit you 5 years ago, you wouldn't have been spiritually strong enough to handle it? Isaiah 43:19 says it plain. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Right now, not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, something is springing up that's never existed before in your lifetime. Can you feel it? That restlessness in your spirit, that sense that something's about to break wide open. That's not anxiety, beloved. That's anticipation. Your soul recognizes what your mind can't yet comprehend. The earth is literally shaking. I'm not talking metaphorically anymore. Earthquakes where there've never been earthquakes. Eclipses marking times and seasons. The very ground beneath our feet is trembling because heaven is about to touch earth in ways we haven't seen since biblical times. You want to know why now? Because you've been through the wilderness. You've drunk from bitter waters. You've walked through valleys where no grass grows. And you didn't quit. You didn't curse God. You held on when holding on made no earthly sense. That wilderness? It was your preparation ground. Every tear you cried was collected in God's bottle. Every prayer you whispered in the dark was recorded in heaven's ledger. Every time you got knocked down and got back up, you were building spiritual muscle for what's coming. But here's where it gets supernatural. The waiting season is over. Done. Finished. The cosmic clock just struck midnight, and a new day is dawning, not just for you, but for every chosen one who's been wondering if God still remembers their name. You see, God's timing isn't our timing. When you were 40, crying over that failed business, God was saying not yet. When you were 50, wondering why you felt so alone, God was whispering almost. When you hit 60 and felt like life had passed you by, God was positioning the final pieces on the chessboard. Now you're here, seasoned, tested, purified. And, beloved, you're not too old. You're perfectly aged. Like wine that's been stored in the cellar, waiting for the right moment to be uncorked. Your finest hour isn't behind you. It's breathing down your neck. I need you to picture this with me. Tomorrow morning, you wake up and your phone is buzzing. It's your bank. Your account has been credited with money you didn't expect. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, the kind of money that erases debt and creates generational wealth. That call you've been waiting for, that breakthrough in your health, that relationship restoration, that business idea that suddenly has every door flying open. You think I'm painting fantasies? Then you don't know your God. The same God who split the Red Sea, who made the sun stand still, who raised the dead. That God is saying your name right now, and his voice is echoing through the corridors of heaven. Release it all. They're ready now. The old season of lack is ending. The old season of sickness is ending. The old season of loneliness is ending. What's coming isn't just blessing, it's overflow. It's healing that flows like a river that cannot be dammed up any longer. It's provision that doesn't just meet your needs but funds your dreams. Why now? Because the world is about to get darker, and God needs lights, bright lights, mature lights. Lights that have been tested in the darkness and proven they won't burn out. That's you. You're not just getting blessed so you can retire in comfort. You're getting blessed so you can be a beacon in the storm that's coming. The heavens are opening, and what was locked away is bursting forth. This is not someday. This is now. The very atoms in the air around you are charged with possibility. The angels who've been holding back your breakthrough are getting their marching orders. Go, release, pour out. The time is now. Can you feel it building? That pressure in your chest, that electricity in the atmosphere. Your breakthrough isn't coming. It's here. It's knocking on your door. It's circling your house. It's looking for any crack of faith to flood through. So here's what I need you to do right now. I need you to stretch your hands toward this screen. I need you to open your mouth and declare with everything in you, this is my moment. This is my time. What God has prepared for me from the foundation of the world, I receive it now. Because, beloved, the secret God tried to hide can't be contained anymore. The dam is cracking. The waters are rising. And you're about to discover that everything you've been through was just preparation for everything you're about to walk into. The cosmic timing isn't just perfect, it's supernatural. And you, chosen one, are standing at the epicenter of the greatest move of God your generation will ever witness. But chosen one, I know what's happening right now. Even as heaven's secret unfolds before you, there's another voice, a darker voice, creeping through the cracks of your weathered heart like smoke under an old door. The enemy is like a thief whispering through the cracks of an old house, trying to convince you the foundation is crumbling. But God says the structure is stronger than ever. Listen. Can you hear it? That familiar whisper that's followed you for decades. The one that slides in during your quiet moments, when the house settles and the world grows still. You, at your age? Come on now. Your best years are behind you. Your health isn't what it was. Your body creaks when you stand. The mirror shows lines that weren't there yesterday. God's looking for someone younger, stronger, more capable. That voice knows your address. It knows exactly which buttons to push, which wounds to poke. It whispers about your arthritis, your medication bottles lined up like soldiers on the kitchen counter. It reminds you of dreams you buried with your spouse, of grandchildren who don't call enough, of friends who've passed on, leaving you standing at too many gravesides. Too old, too broken, too late. But hold on, let me ask you something that might shake you to your core. What if those very things the enemy calls disqualifications are exactly what God calls credentials? What if your 70 years aren't too many, but just enough to carry the weight of what's coming? What if your scars aren't signs of damage, but proof you've survived battles that would have destroyed lesser souls? What if the loneliness that echoes through your house isn't abandonment, but the sacred silence God needs to speak his deepest secrets? You see, the devil doesn't waste ammunition on targets that don't matter. He wouldn't spend decades whispering lies in your ear if you weren't a threat to his kingdom. Every doubt he plants, every fear he waters, every too late he screams, is evidence that heaven has marked you for something extraordinary. Isaiah 41:9 cuts through the darkness like a sword. I have chosen you and not rejected you. Not I chose you when you were young, not I'll choose someone else now. Present tense, active voice, unbreakable promise. I have chosen you. The God who spoke galaxies into existence looked across eternity and said your name. The same God who parted the Red Sea and raised the dead whispered your identity before you drew your first breath. You think turning 60, 70, 80 changes his mind? You think a few wrinkles alter his eternal purpose? But the enemy is crafty. He doesn't just attack your age, he attacks your worth. Late at night, when the house is quiet and your thoughts are loud, he replays your failures like a broken record. Remember when you lost your temper with the kids? Remember that business that failed? Remember the marriage that didn't work? Remember all the times you said you'd change and didn't? God's looking for someone clean. Someone who's got their act together. Look at you, still struggling with the same issues at this age, still battling the same fears, still wrestling with doubt. How can God use someone like you? Let me tell you something that'll make the enemy tremble. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Moses was 80 when God handed him a staff and said, "Go free my people." Abraham was 100 when he became the father of nations. Noah was over 500 when he started building the ark that would save humanity. Your grey hair isn't a disqualification, it's a crown of glory. Proverbs 16:31 declares it, "Grey hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained in the way of righteousness." Every line on your face is a scripture of survival. Every ache in your body is testimony that you're still here when others aren't. The enemy wants you to believe your season has passed, that the train has left the station, that God's moved on to younger, faster, shinier vessels. But what if I told you that everything you've experienced, every loss you've grieved, every mountain you've climbed, every valley you've walked through was preparation for this moment? What if your broken heart isn't damaged goods but fertile ground? What if your quiet house isn't empty space but sacred sanctuary? What if your slower pace isn't limitation but wisdom, learning to move with divine timing instead of human urgency? The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And his favorite target isn't your possessions or your health, it's your identity. He wants to rob you of the truth that echoes from heaven's throne room. You are chosen. You are called. You are not rejected. Right now, as you sit wherever you are, whether it's your favorite chair or the edge of your bed, whether your hands are steady or trembling, whether your voice is strong or whispered, I need you to understand something. The enemy's greatest fear isn't your potential. It's your awakening to the truth of who you've always been. You are not an accident of age. You are not a leftover from better days. You are not damaged goods marked down for clearance. You are a chosen vessel, refined by time, seasoned by experience, and positioned by divine appointment for such a time as this. If you've ever felt too old, too broken, too late, right, not rejected below, claim your identity back tonight. Let hell hear your declaration that God's word trumps the enemy's whisper every single time. Because, chosen one, the very doubts trying to disqualify you are about to become the foundation stones of your greatest victory. The secret God's releasing isn't just for the young and strong. It's especially for those who've been counted out, written off, and whispered about. Your time isn't over. Your story isn't finished. And the best chapter you've been waiting for, it's about to begin. Chosen one, the veil is about to be ripped away. What I'm about to reveal has been locked in heaven's vault since before time began. God's been wrestling with whether to tell you, not because he doesn't trust you, but because once you know this secret, there's no going back to the life you used to live. Are you ready for the weight of this truth? Layer 1. The secret is timing. The first layer of God's secret hits like lightning. He held it back until your spirit could handle the flood. You thought those years of waiting were punishment. You thought God was ignoring your cries, your midnight prayers, your desperate pleas for breakthrough. But here's what was really happening in the heavens. God was looking at the size of your blessing, and then looking at the size of your vessel. He knew that if he released it too early, it would destroy you. Think about Joseph. 17 years old when he got the dream, 30 years old when it came to pass, 13 years of preparation, prison, betrayal, forgotten by those he helped. Why did God wait? Because the blessing was bigger than a teenager could carry. Joseph needed to become a man who could rule nations, not just dream about them. That's you right now. Every year you thought was wasted was actually strengthening the walls of your spirit. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Your season wasn't delayed, it was being refined. But here's where it gets deeper. Layer 2. The secret is identity. The second layer will shake your foundation. You are not forgotten. You are heaven's investment. Listen to me carefully. When you felt invisible, overlooked, passed by while others got promoted, married, blessed, you weren't being rejected. You were being protected. God was keeping you in the cocoon because the butterfly wasn't ready to fly. Isaiah 49:16 declares, "Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands." Your name isn't just written in the book of life, it's carved into God's palms. Every time he moves his hands, he sees your name. Every miracle he performs, your name is right there. You are not an afterthought. You are not plan B. You are heaven's blue-chip stock. And when God invests in something, he doesn't just watch it grow, he multiplies it beyond recognition. But the secret gets even more explosive. Layer 3. The secret is legacy. The third layer will blow your mind. This breakthrough is not for you alone. It is for your children, your community, your bloodline. God didn't keep you alive through the cancer just so you could enjoy a few more years. He kept you alive because there's a generation that needs to see what faith looks like when it refuses to quit. Your grandchildren need to know that miracles still happen. Your neighbors need to witness that God still shows up for ordinary people. A river doesn't just quench its own thirst. It waters everything around it, creates valleys, feeds forests, changes the landscape for miles in every direction. That's what your breakthrough is designed to do. When Moses struck the rock, water didn't just trickle out for him. It gushed enough for 2 million people. When Jesus fed the 5,000, there weren't just enough leftovers for him. There were 12 baskets full, one for each disciple to carry to the next hungry crowd. Your blessing is being sized for your bloodline, not just your bank account. But here's the moment that changes everything. The climactic revelation. The reason God couldn't keep the secret any longer is because the world cannot afford for you to stay hidden one more day. Let that hit you. The world needs what's inside you. That wisdom you gained through pain, that strength you built through struggle, that faith you forged in the fire. Right now, somewhere, there's a young person about to give up who needs to see your story. There's a family falling apart who needs your testimony. There's a community dying for lack of hope who needs your light. God's been holding this back because he knew the moment you stepped into your full purpose, everything would shift. Not just in your house, not just in your city, the spiritual atmosphere itself would change. You think you're just one person, but when God moves through one surrendered life, kingdoms shake. When he breathes on one obedient heart, dynasties rise. When he speaks through one willing voice, generations are altered forever. Here's what God's been trying to protect the enemy from knowing. You are the game changer. You are the secret weapon. You are the ace he's been keeping in his sleeve. But the secret is out now. The enemy knows. Hell is panicking. And heaven is mobilizing every angel to make sure you step into what's been waiting for you since before you were born. This isn't just your breakthrough. This is the breakthrough that rewrites history. This is the moment that shifts the balance. This is the day that proves God never forgot his promises. The flood is coming. The dam has cracked. And you, chosen one, are standing at ground zero of the greatest move of God your eyes have ever seen. This isn't just for you. Someone you love is waiting for this word. Someone in your sphere needs to know that breakthrough is not only possible, it's inevitable. Hit share right now. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Your obedience to share this message might be the key that unlocks someone else's miracle. The secret is out. The timing is now. Your destiny is calling. Will you answer? Chosen one, we've come to the crossroads, the place where revelation meets reality, where heaven's secret transforms from whispered promise to walking power. You've heard the truth. You've felt the stirring. You've seen the signs aligning like stars, spelling your name across the midnight sky. But here's what separates the called from the chosen, the dreamer from the deliverer. What you do in the next 60 seconds. Paul knew this moment. Sitting in that Roman prison, chains cutting his wrists, he could have wallowed in what was behind him, the mistakes, the years he persecuted the very Christ he now served, the opportunities lost. Instead, he penned words that would echo through eternity. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward. Forgetting what's behind, not ignoring it, not pretending it didn't happen. Forgetting it, releasing its power over your future. How many of you are still carrying the weight of decisions you made 20, 30, 40 years ago? How many are haunted by the voice of a parent who said you'd never amount to anything? How many wake up every morning apologizing to God for sins He's already cast into the sea of forgetfulness? That weight you're carrying, it's not holy, it's not humility, it's pride disguised as penance. You're telling God His sacrifice wasn't enough. You're saying your sin is stronger than His grace. Stop it, right now, stop it. The secret God tried to hide wasn't just about your future breakthrough, it was about your present freedom. He's been waiting for you to release what's behind so He can reveal what's ahead. But you keep looking backwards, and you can't drive forward staring in the rearview mirror. Here's what I need you to do right now, not tomorrow, not after you pray about it, right now. Get a piece of paper. I don't care if it's fancy stationery or a napkin from your kitchen table. Write down the 3 things that haunt you most. The failures that whisper your name at 3 a.m. The regrets that steal your peace. The fears that make you shrink when God calls you to expand. Write them down. Now look at that paper. Those words, those memories that have held you hostage for decades, they're just ink on paper. They have no power except what you give them. Tear it up. Tear it into pieces so small they can't be put back together. As you tear, speak these words out loud. What God has forgiven, I release. What Christ has covered, I cancel. What the Spirit has sealed, I surrender. Some of you are hesitating. You're thinking, Pastor, you don't understand. What I did was really bad. No, beloved, you don't understand. What Jesus did was really good. His blood didn't just cover your little sins. It drowned your worst moments. It buried your deepest shame. David killed a man to cover his adultery, and God called him a man after my own heart. Peter denied Christ 3 times, and Jesus made him the rock of the church. Your worst day doesn't cancel God's best plan, but faith without works is dead. Belief without action is just religious entertainment. The Israelites didn't just hear about the promised land, they had to cross the Jordan. Joshua didn't just receive the promise of Jericho's walls falling, he had to march. You have to step. I'm talking to the woman who's been praying for financial breakthrough for 15 years but won't apply for that job because you're afraid of rejection. I'm speaking to the man who's been asking God for restored health but won't change your diet because you're comfortable with familiar destruction. I'm calling out the grandmother who's been interceding for her family's salvation but won't have the difficult conversation with her son because you're more afraid of conflict than passionate about his eternity. When will you match your prayers with your steps? The secret is out. The door is open, but you still have to walk through it. God won't carry you across the threshold like a spiritual bride. You have to choose to move from where you are to where He's calling you. Right now, lift your hands. I know you're watching on your phone or computer. I know people might see you. Let them. Let them witness the moment you stop hiding your faith, like it's something to be ashamed of. Lift your hands and say this out loud. I step into what God has prepared. I release what's behind me. I receive what's before me. I am ready for my breakthrough. I am ready for my miracle. I am ready for the secret to become my reality. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your life depends on it, because it does. Now type in the comments right now. I step in. Not I want to step in, or I hope to step in, or I'm thinking about stepping in. Just I step in. This isn't just a comment. It's a covenant act. It's your digital footprint in heaven's record book. It's your signature on the contract God's been holding with your name on it. The angels are watching. The enemy is nervous. And your breakthrough is waiting for your obedience. But here's the warning that comes with the promise. Once you step in, there's no going back to small. Once you claim this secret as your reality, mediocrity becomes impossible. Once you align with God's original plan for your life, settling becomes sin. Are you ready for that level of responsibility? Are you prepared to walk in power that will make demons tremble and mountains move? Are you willing to become the answer to prayers that haven't been prayed yet? Because that's what stepping in means. You're not just claiming your blessing, you're accepting your assignment. You're not just receiving your miracle, you're becoming one. The secret is yours, the choice is yours, the time is now. What happens next depends entirely on what you do with the next heartbeat God gives you. Chosen one, look at me. Look right through this screen and hear these words like they're being whispered directly into your soul. You think it's too late, don't you? You think your best years are behind you. You think God forgot about you somewhere between your 40th birthday and your 60th. Between the divorce papers and the medical bills. Between the empty nest and the retirement party, nobody threw. But what if I told you that every single hero in God's playbook was considered too late by the world's standards? Moses was 80 years old, 80, when God called him to lead a nation out of bondage. The man had a speech impediment and a murder rap. If Moses applied for leadership today, they'd laugh him out of the building. But God saw something the world couldn't see. He saw fire wrapped in flesh. He saw a man whose brokenness had become his strength. Noah was over 500 years old when God told him to build an ark. 500. The man was collecting Social Security before Social Security existed. But God needed someone who understood that sometimes you've got to build something nobody believes in, because heaven's perspective is bigger than earth's opinion. Ruth was a widow, a foreigner, a woman with nothing but the clothes on her back and loyalty in her heart. By every earthly measure, she was finished, done, written off. But she became the great-grandmother of King David and found herself in the lineage of Jesus Christ himself. David was forgotten by his own family. When the prophet came looking for the next king, David was so overlooked they didn't even call him in from the fields. Too young, too small, too insignificant. But God said, "That one, the one nobody sees, that's my king." Do you see the pattern here? Do you feel the tremor in your spirit? God doesn't work with the qualified. He qualifies the overlooked. He doesn't choose the ready. He prepares the rejected. He doesn't anoint the perfect. He transforms the broken. Your life is not a ruin, beloved. Your life is a cathedral under construction. Every scar you carry is a stained glass window that heaven is about to light up from the inside. Every heartbreak you've survived is an archway that leads to something magnificent. Every year you thought was wasted was actually a cornerstone being laid for the masterpiece God is about to unveil. The secret God tried to hide from you. It was never about your age. It was never about your mistakes. It was never about your limitations. The secret is your identity. You are chosen. You are unstoppable. You are a radiant carrier of glory walking around in human skin. You are God's masterpiece, and masterpieces don't have expiration dates. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Here's what makes hell tremble when you finally understand it. Your greatest impact, your deepest influence, your most powerful moments are not behind you. They're in front of you. They're waiting for you to stop apologizing for taking up space and start occupying the territory God assigned to your name. Abraham was 75 when God called him to leave everything and follow a promise. Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to the miracle that would become a nation. Anna the prophetess was 84 when she recognized the Messiah in the temple and became the first evangelist to proclaim his coming. 84 years old, and God used her to make the announcement that would change eternity. You want to know why you're still breathing? You want to know why your heart is still beating when so many others have gone home? Because heaven has an assignment with your name on it. Because there's something only you can do, something only you can say, someone only you can reach. Your grandchildren need to see what faith looks like when it refuses to quit. Your community needs to witness what happens when someone decides that God's promises don't have an expiration date. This world needs to understand that silver hair and wrinkled hands can carry more power than youth ever dreamed of. The secret is this: you are not fading, you are not declining, you are not winding down, you are ascending. Every year you've lived has been preparation. Every tear you've cried has been tenderizing your heart for greater compassion. Every loss you've endured has been excavating space for deeper joy. Every disappointment has been developing your capacity to recognize real blessing when it shows up. Even to your old age and gray hairs, I am He who will sustain you. I have made you, and I will carry you. I will sustain you, and I will rescue you. That's Isaiah 46:4, and it's God's personal promise to you. He's not done with you. He's not finished. He's not ready to put you on the shelf. You think you're in the twilight. You're actually in the dawn. You think you're in the final chapter? You're about to start the sequel that makes everything before it look like the prologue. Chosen one, the secret is out. Heaven has spoken. The vault is open. The floodgates are bursting. It's your time, and nothing on earth, in hell, or anywhere else can stop what's about to happen. Your legacy is not what you've done. Your legacy is what you're about to do. Your impact is not in your past. Your impact is in your next decision, your next prayer, your next act of obedience. The cathedral is complete. The stained glass is about to catch fire with light. The bells are about to ring. And you, beloved, you are about to discover that the best is not behind you. The best is breaking through right now. Subscribe. Stay. Walk this path with me. Comment, ready if you feel the shift happening in your spirit right now. Because God is not done with you. This message, this moment, this revelation was only the beginning. Your final ascent starts now. Chosen one, we've walked a long path together today, and I need you to hold on to these truths like they're the keys to your future. Remember this: the secret God tried to hide wasn't about keeping something from you. It was about protecting something for you. Every delay, every closed door, every season of waiting wasn't punishment. It was preparation. God was building your capacity to carry what He's about to release. Remember this: your age is not a limitation, it's your qualification. Moses was 80, Sarah was 90, Anna was 84. God doesn't retire His champions, He refines them. Every year you've lived, every battle you've fought, every tear you've shed has been developing your spiritual muscle for this very moment. Remember this: you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not too late. The God who numbers every hair on your head and collects every tear in His bottle has been orchestrating every detail of your story for this breakthrough. What looked like chaos was actually choreography. But here's what I need you to understand. With every fiber of your being, you are not walking this journey alone. Right now, as you're listening to these words, there are thousands of others just like you sitting in their living rooms, lying in hospital beds, standing in empty kitchens, feeling that same stirring in their spirit. That same recognition that something is shifting. You are part of a family, a remnant, a generation that God is awakening for his final harvest. We are here. We are praying. We are believing with you. When you can't find the words to pray, we're interceding. When your faith feels weak, we're standing in the gap. When the enemy whispers lies about your worth, we're declaring the truth over your life. You belong to a community that spans nations and crosses generations, all bound together by the same calling, the same hope, the same divine DNA. Let me ask you something that I want you to carry with you long after this video ends. If God brought you this far through everything you faced, the loss, the loneliness, the nights you thought you wouldn't make it, why would he abandon you now? Why would he carry you through the valley just to drop you before the mountaintop? He wouldn't. He didn't. He won't. Now, before we close, I want to pray over you. Not just words spoken into the air, but a prayer that reaches into the throne room of heaven on your behalf. Close your eyes if you're able. Feel my hand on your shoulder. Feel the presence of God surrounding you right now. Heavenly Father, I lift up every person hearing these words. You know their name. You know their pain. You know the dreams they've buried and the hopes they've carried in secret. Lord, I pray that you would open their eyes to see what you see. Not someone who is fading, but someone who is ascending. Not someone whose best days are behind them, but someone whose greatest impact is ahead. God, break off every lie the enemy has whispered over their identity. Shatter every limitation that age or circumstance has tried to place on their future. Restore their confidence in your plan. Renew their strength like the eagles. Let them mount up with wings and discover they were built to soar, not just survive. Lord, open doors that no man can shut. Provide in ways that only you can. Heal bodies that doctors said couldn't be healed. Mend hearts that were broken beyond repair. Restore relationships that seemed impossible to fix. Let your favor surround them like a shield. Father, I pray for divine connections. Send the right people at the right time. Remove those who would hinder or harm. Let their path be clear, their purpose be revealed, and their steps be ordered by you. And God, let them feel your presence right now. Not just hear about it, but experience it. Let peace that passes understanding flood their heart. Let joy unspeakable fill their spirit. Let hope anchor their soul. In the mighty name of Jesus, we declare their breakthrough is not coming, it's here. Amen. Chosen one, if this message touched something deep in your spirit, I need you to do something. Leave a comment below. Tell us your name so we can pray for you specifically. Share what God stirred in your heart today. Ask your questions. We're here to help walk through this with you. And please, share this message. There's someone in your circle, a friend, a family member, maybe someone you haven't talked to in years, who needs to hear this exact word today. They're sitting in their own valley, wondering if God still sees them. You could be the vessel God uses to deliver their breakthrough message. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This community is growing stronger every day, and we want you to be part of what God is doing. Your journey doesn't end here. This was just the beginning of your recognition of who you really are. Thank you for staying with me through this entire message. Thank you for opening your heart to receive what God wanted to pour in. Thank you for believing that your story isn't over. It's just beginning its most beautiful chapter. The secret is out, beloved. Heaven has spoken. Your time is now. And nothing in heaven, earth, or hell can stop what God has already set in motion. Go in peace. Walk in power. Live in the reality of who you are. Chosen, beloved, and unstoppable. Until we meet again, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. The journey continues, and we're walking it together.